Good morning, hikers. We are here at Yavapai Vista, south of Sedona, Arizona, on Highway 179. Today we're going to take an approximately 9-mile hike with about 1,000 feet of elevation gain around Cathedral Rock. We'll start out by using a short section of the Slim Shady Trail, connecting to the Templeton Trail, which will take us around the north side, over to the Baldwin Trail, which will take us around the west side, connecting to the Hiline Trail on the south side, returning us here to Yavapai Point. This parking area is only accessible while headed south on Highway 179, so if you are headed north from the village of Oak Creek, you will need to continue up to Back Beyond Roundabout and make a loop back down. This parking area is not as heavily utilized as a lot of the others in the region, just due to the fact that you can only access it while heading south, as well as the fact that the parking area for Cathedral Rock on Back Beyond is the most popular, as a lot of people are just hiking the summit section of that trail. We will actually not be hiking the summit section of that today, and the parking on Back Beyond Road is usually incredibly chaotic, as well as just sometimes closed because apparently they set up barriers across the roundabout up there. So keep that in mind. You can, of course, hike the summit trail from over here. It's just going to add a little bit of mileage to this loop, or you can hike there and back if you don't want to do the whole loop. But let me just tell you, you're going to enjoy the whole loop. So thanks for joining me, and enjoy the hike.
Yeah, okay. So just came off Slim Shady there. Gonna hit Templeton and continue on around Cathedral Rock. Down here at the base of Cathedral Rock, probably one of the more popular trails here in Sedona, maybe besides Devil's Bridge. You can see it's pretty majestic. So we made it down the switchbacks behind Cathedral Rock here down by Oak Creek. It's quite chilly down here, and the switchbacks are why they recommend doing this trail in a counterclockwise fashion. Here we are at Oak Creek.
Here we are at the intersection with the Baldwin Trail. We're going to take a left here and continue on over to connect to the Hiline Trail. Continuing on straight there would take you to the Baldwin Trailhead parking over on Verde Valley School Road.
So we're approaching the intersection here where Hiline and Baldwin Trail meet. We'll be taking the Hiline back to Yavapai Vista parking where we started.
My apologies for some of the terrible camera angles here. This section of the trail is very steep. Some of it's around 45 degrees slope, 20 to 45 degrees for the most part right in here. So you're pretty well headed straight into the rock face, climbing up it. It's not difficult to climb or anything, it's just very steep and strenuous, so keep that in mind. If you are mountain biking, you're not allowed to go up this section. You can come down this section though if you're going clockwise around the trail, but way above my skill level. However, it is able to be biked, just only in one direction. Once you get here to what I would call the pass on the Hiline Trail, right before you start going back down, there's a spur trail that goes off to the north-northwest over towards Cathedral Rock. I'm not sure how far that goes. I just took a quick glance at it, but I'm guessing it does go on over there a ways. I just didn't want to stray too far from my intended path today.
Well, I believe we're finally headed back down. Already got 7 miles in. Let me tell you, this trail, it's a great trail. It's absolutely worth doing. But don't underestimate it. It's not easy. I mean, it's almost borderline difficult, at least for this region, just because of the combined distance and some of the terrain and elevation changes, but it is a beautiful trail. Absolutely worth taking the time and energy to do.
Quick glance at Courthouse Butte and Bell Rock there towards the south. That's the village of Oak Creek off in the distance. We will be arriving back here in Yavapai Vista shortly. Quickly summarize the hike today. I had right at 9 miles with 1,000 feet of elevation gain over about 5 hours, which included about 1 hour of stop time for lunch and other breaks. The trail is described in All Trails as being 8 miles with about 900 feet of elevation gain, which I would say all in all is fairly accurate considering I probably backtracked in a few spots. My hike today did not include the popular hike up Cathedral Rock itself. If you were to include that in this loop, that would add about another mile for you. I chose not to do that hike as it gets very crowded with people, and I appreciated the serenity of the loop itself, which has excellent views in all directions. In fact, it's probably one of my favorite hikes here in Sedona. If you're looking for the loop on all trails, it's called Cathedral Rock Loop, Hiline, and Templeton trails. And of course, it does actually use more trails than that. It actually starts out on the Kaibab Trail to Slim Shady, to Templeton, to Baldwin, to Hiline, eventually back to Slim Shady and Kaibab to finish up the loop. Thank you for joining me today. I hope you enjoyed the hike as much as I did, and hope you can get out there and do it for yourself at some point.